Hello and welcome back to another video. If you're new to this series, let me tell you how it works. I listen to albums throughout the week, some new albums, some older albums, then I pick the ones I want to give my opinion on and listen to. Hello and welcome to another video. If you're new to this series, let me tell you how it works. I listen to albums throughout the week, some new albums, some older albums, and I pick the ones I want to give my opinion on and review them in this video. Remember, my opinion is mine and mine only, and you may have a different opinion, so don't take anything I say too seriously. Now let's get on to the first album of today's video. So after that terribly long intro, obviously it's my first time doing a video like this apparently because I can't do the intro that I've been doing for almost 30 videos now. Anyways, the first album of today's video will be Recess by Baby No Money. Backstory of the album? I wasn't able to find any info. Websites used the word Wikipedia, Apple Music, and Genius.com. Review. This was definitely a choice to upload this album. This album had many issues, but one that it felt like it had the most with was in the lyrics department. I feel like lyrics lacked a lot. Well, beats were not the best. I'll let it slide as he may have been going for a goofy meme type beat, but the lyrics are a choice. For it being a 30-minute album, it did feel a lot longer than that. Overall, this is one of those projects I would tell you to stay away from and save your precious, precious time. This would have, if this album was any longer, it for sure would have ended up on Ass Album of the Week. But as if it's on the shorter side of albums, it sadly did not qualify as I did force myself to listen to this entire thing. Lastly, my standout song was Doubles. Up next, we have I Don't Care At All by Baby No Money. Backstory of the album. Before the drop of this album, Baby No Money would drop his most popular and most successful song of La La La, and after his song's massive success, he would eventually release another 3 more songs to promote the album of I Don't Care At All and hype it up before its eventual release. Information from Genius.com and Apple Music. Review. Up next, we have another Baby No Money album. And unlike the one we just heard, this one is 1,000 miles better. Beat and productions have improved so much more from his past couple projects that we've been over. And while this is still on the weaker side, it still have some weak points. It wasn't as horrid as his previous album was. Overall, beats and productions improved a lot from his previous album, and his flow and lyric work stayed about the same as his previous one, but did sound a little bit better. Lastly, my standout song was Bad Thoughts. Up next, we have 2093 by YEAT. Backstory of the album. After fans thought that Yi would be dropping a deluxe version of Afterlife after teasing it, but due to unknown reasons, he would eventually scrap it and in a now deleted tweet, he would let people know that instead of a deluxe album, we would be getting a brand new album from him instead. Information from Genius.com, Apple Music, and Wikipedia. Review. Now, let me be honest with you. I heard this album when it first came out, and I've been a massive fan of this album since its initial release. Take what I have to say about this album with a grain of salt. Anyways, this album is amazing. And while yes, it's review. Now, let me be honest with you. I have heard this album when it first came out, and I've been a massive fan of this album since its initial release. Take what I have to say about this album with a grain of salt. This album is amazing. Now, while yes, it follows Yeat's dumbass trend of shitty soulless songs, for once, it feels like this album is more highly filled with better songs, better actual songs, only in the first half of the album though. The second half of the album, songs 15 and forward, are filled with slop, and had many songs that failed to give any boost to this album. While this album for sure is his best work so far, I will say that this album lost many points in the second half of the album. What made me like this album so much though is it fit his style very well, but there are some songs and beats that feel dead or forced. Vocals and lyrics are good and it is what we have come to expect from him, but there are some songs like Psycho Cocaine, I think is how you say that, where it had good beat and vocals, but the lyrics were straight up ass. There are also many features and there are also many features on this album, and the standout feature for me definitely was Drake. But I do feel bad for Future, as his verse was good, but it can easily be overlooked as the song he is on is one of the more shittier songs of the album. Overall, this was a great album by Yeat and something that many will agree on being his best work so far. Filled with great beats, having you feel like you're at a party, then to more calmer songs that did magic on his beats that will make you but then after that we get sent to some songs that feel empty on the inside. Vocals also follow the same trend where he goes from perfect pace and flow the production with the production of the song, then he goes on to other songs and acts as if he has never sung a day in his life. Lastly, my standout songs are Psycho CEO, Power Trip, Breathe, More, As We Speak, You Should Know, Lifestyle, I Love, 2099, I mean 2093, and we should be real. Up next, we have Lifestyle, also by YEAT. Backstory of the album. Following the same trend as before, he was planning to drop P4 of his last album, 2093, but would later scrap it and then take to Instagram stories and tease a brand new album instead. Information from Genius.com and Apple Music. Review. I'm really hoping this trend is broken when ADL drops, or else I'm gonna be super worried. At this point, it feels like he's just doing a copy and paste, like I am doing a copy and paste for YEAT reviews. So I'm gonna get this over with really quickly. Overall, this was another YEAT album that has its fair share of fire beats and amazing sounding vocals, but a big but, it has its unfortunate share of ass and pure shit songs as well. Just compare this review to any other of my YEAT reviews at this point, and you can pretty much fit it for this album as well. Lastly, my standout songs are You Don't Know Life or Creestre. I cannot say that word for the love of my life. Gone for a Min and Forever Again. Before we go into this next album, I quickly want to say I don't know what's going on with me today. I just can't speak properly. That's why I'm stuttering so much. So I'm sorry if that's like getting annoying because I feel like it's getting very annoying for me. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much, so I just need to apologize. Now let's get on to this next album, which this next album is Dangerous Summer by YEAT. Backstory of the album. With this new album, it's a whole new different type of music for YEAT, and he tries to change his music style in this brand new album. Information from Apple Music, Wikipedia, and Genius.com. Review. What more can I say about YEAT Project at this point? What more can I say about his projects at this point? Other than that, this project was way, way better than his other stuff. While it's not my favorite project by him, that still does belong to 2093, this was so much better. With Dangerous Summer, YEAT finally broke the trend I was telling y'all about. This album only had one miss, and while that one miss may hurt this album point-wise, when it comes to giving it a number review, it did not affect how much I like this album. The beats and productions felt different from his other work, and felt as if he put more work than he already does into his music. While vocals may have stayed the same, it works well with him as he manages to keep that YEAT feel without sounding forced and without feeling out of place in the production. Lyrics may not have been the best lyrically, but they are still good for what we have come to expect from YEAT. Also on the song NGYL, what the fuck did I write? Lyrics may not have been the best lyrically, but they're still good. Also, yeah, no, that's what I did say it right. I don't know. I said it right. I thought I misread whatever. Also, the NGYL feature was amazing, and his verse was perfect for the type of vibe that YEAT was going for on the song "Oh I Did." Overall, this helps me be a little bit more positive for when ADL drops. This is exactly what I've been wanting from YEAT and what I know he could do. It is also on the shorter side of projects for YEAT albums, but that's also what he needed, as there was less songs and he knew that he had to do his best and put out his best, and he did. Beats and productions are perfect, and he keeps that same YEAT feel that we have gotten used to after all this time. Lastly, my standout songs are Oh I Did, Come and Go, ADL is Coming, and Fly Night. Up next, we have D-Day by Dreamville and J.Cole. Backstory of the album, this would be another showcase of all the talent that's signed with the Dreamville label from Apple Music. I'm sorry. Review. We have another collab by Dreamville and J.Cole. This project was okay. It was like their other albums where they bring in the talent that they have signed to their music label. And while it wasn't bad, it also wasn't the best from the ones that they have done before. Something I was able to tell is that they decided to keep similar beats throughout the project, and while that did work for some artists, it did not work for all of them. You can tell on some songs, like the song like Wine, where they're trying to fit with the beat instead of the beat fitting with them, you know? Outside of that, many songs fell short of what we should have gotten and stuff we've gotten before of Dreamville and J. Cole, like with their past projects. So I don't know. I don't know if it was like a change of talent or if talent have fallen down in their own quality. But from all the artists that they brought in, Jet and Ari Lennox both did amazing on their songs, and the beats they had fit well perfectly with them. Unlike other cases where the artists you could tell were trying to their best to fit with the beat instead of the beat working for them. Overall, my fault. Overall, this was a project that could have definitely been better and did lose some quality from their past project. While it did have its standout moments, it also did have a couple of songs that did make the album lose points for me. Lastly, the standout songs are Freedom of Speech and Josie Flows. Up next, we have Might Delete Later by J. Cole. Backstory of the album. This would follow up on the path that J. Cole was doing to the lead up of the off season and would continue to show his path of why he is one of the best out there. Information from Apple Music. Review. This album is so overhated. Like, I know these Kendrick lasers love to hate on anything that says one bad thing about Kendrick, so they have to hate this album for no reason. This album was great, and it's personally one of my favorite albums by J. Cole. Of course, it's nothing like some of his older projects, but it's still good. Many of the songs had a calmer vibe going for them, and the pace on most of the songs was good, except for the song Ready 24. I also wanted to add that Cameron cooked on Ready 24, even though I did call out the song for being on the weaker side of the album. He still cooked when on that song. Overall, this is a great project that is hated by these Kendrick lasers that come to hate on J. Cole, just sucking out Kendrick dry, because that's all these K seem to do. Because, oh my god, let someone say one bad thing about Kendrick Lamar and all of a sudden you're being hated by these motherfuckers who need to make sure that Kendrick is sucked dry 24/7. Holy fucking shit, I hate them. Everyone knows that both Drake and J. Cole are miles, and I mean miles better than Kendrick. I'm not saying Kendrick is ass, he has good songs, but when it comes to comparing these three, Drake and J. Cole are both much better than Kendrick Lamar, but that's something people will never want to admit because they're too busy sucking Kendrick dry. Because we all know that after that Drake beef, that Kendrick became an industry plant. And he will forever he will forever release shitty music unless his next album is good. I would never say Kendrick is good because GNX was ass. That should not have won rap album of the year. Anyways, my standout song was HYB. Up next, we have 2014 Forest Hill Drives by J. Cole. Backstory of the album. J. Cole named this album after the place he used to live on, and he also uses this album to try and balance his already existing darkness and his newfound bright side. Information from Apple Music and Genius.com. Review. This is amazing. This is for sure J. Cole's best project, and it is also the last J. Cole project that we will be talking about on this channel, as we are done with him. He is also retired, unless he, for some reason, unretires and brings to something else, but this is the last we will be seeing of J. Cole ever on the channel, or unless he collabs with someone else on songs. Anyways, this album's production was incredible and some of the best production from all of his projects, including The Fall Off. Pace was also amazing throughout the project, and some of his best work where in many of the songs he was just going off and there was no stopping him. There are also many great features on this project, and while I didn't have any standout features, they all still did great on the project. Something I'm also ashamed to say, but I for some reason had no idea that J. Cole made the song No Role Models. So when I heard this song play while listening to this album, I felt very stupid. But yeah, that's the one that I have no idea how I didn't know he made this that he made this great song. Lyric wise, it was also some of his best work from all, and I do mean all of his projects, and something that even now with his newer project being out, he wasn't able to top this one. Overall, this is a great project by J. Cole and something that will for sure go down in history as one of the best projects of all time. Where if J. Cole does decide to make more music, it'll be super hard for him to top. Lastly, my standout songs are January 28th, ST Troopers, GOMD, and No Role Models. Up next, we have ADL by YEAT. Backstory of the album. While the talks of Dangerous Summer were going on, many people were not sure if ADL was going to be part of it or if it was going to be its own separate project. It wasn't until months later where his producer would confirm that ADL would be its own separate project from Dangerous Summer. Information from Wikipedia and Apple Music. Review. Now that we have ADL, this was worth it. Going into this album, I was a bit worried, but those worries got killed. To start off, we have an immediate start, and we have an immediate start into the album with none of this walking us into the album with an intro. With amazing beats and production, Yeet laid us out an amazing meal and had us eat that up and make sure we left nothing behind. while per while like every amazing meal, there's always those small bits that bring down the meal a little bit enough. But in this case, those were like four songs that did not do good. Well, there were like four songs that didn't do good and nothing to bring this album down. Many of the beats, many of the beats take you from rap beat to the middle of heaven with no time to breathe. Where usually this would be a problem for an artist. For someone like Yeet, this is perfect. Flow and pace was also perfect on most of the projects except for Taller, where he did lack like a lot. His flow on many of the songs are fast and understanding, and other songs where he wasn't rapping, his pace was on par with the beat and went nicely. There are also many great features on this album, and while Kid Cudi and Joji do have great verses, for me the best feature was on Tolliver, and he did have the best feature from Area One on this album. And now I'm really hoping that at some point in the future we do get a Don Tolliver XE album, as they have done many great collabs together, and they work super well with each other and have great chemistry. I also would not be surprised at all if at some point in the future we do see Yeet become a Jack Boy and and thus signs to Travis Scott's record label, as Yeet does fit super well with their vibe. Overall, while I was scared when this album was first coming out, it proved me wrong super fast, and it pushed the bar far, far above for Yeet's future projects. While I still do think that 2093 and Dangerous Summer are his better works, this nicely does go into third place. And I do see a world where some people do have this their number one album, but I also do have to say that the hate that this album has been getting online is ridiculous. I don't get why people hate on this album. I feel bad for Yeet. When Yeet does his older stuff, people get mad. When Yeet does newer stuff, people get mad. I do think Yeet has unfortunately fallen in this weird circle, in this weird hole where no matter what he does, he will get hate. I want to compare him to more like a first out of Heat, if you guys know who they are, where they do new stuff, they get hated on. They do their older stuff, they get hated on. So he's just in one of these endless circles, endless, like what are they called? I forgot they're called. But he's just falling down this hole where people will hate on him no matter what. But I do hope Yeet does follow this trend of Adele, because I do think this project is very nice. Like I did say, repeating myself, 2093 and Dangerous Summer are still his better works for me. This is for sure top three. And, this is something that it was a very nice album and definitely something that will grow on people as time goes by. Lastly, my standout songs are Lose Control, Griddle, Live Like This, Let King Tong Talk, No More Ghost, My Time, and Back Home. Up next, we have Rhoda Walker Season 1 by Alan Walker. So there was some information found on this album, but it wasn't like this long form YouTube video. And I was already rushed trying to make this video, so I wasn't going to watch a long form video. If I remember, I'll try to link it down below. But if not, you can just look up Rhoda Walk. You can just look up Rhoda Walker Season 1 and you should be able to find it. Now let's head on to and the other websites I also tried using to get information were Apple Music, Wikipedia. Review. Alan Walker, how much of a fan I used to be of yours back when I was like 10, 11 years old. It's been a while since I've heard some Alan Walker, and when I saw he was dropping an album, I was ready to see how he had evolved since I last heard of him. Well, evolve, he did not. Many of the songs seem like they still use the exact same beats that he would have used 10 years ago. Which, I guess I was like 9, 10 years old, because I'm 19 turning 20, and whatever. Which makes sense as that probably around that time. Hold up, let me repeat that sentence. I got distracted. Evolve, he did not. Many of the songs seem like they used the exact same beats that he would have used 10 years ago, as that makes sense, as that was probably around the last time I last heard his music. While this was not the worst album I've heard this year, it does suck that he just has not changed. And while yes, for some artists, not changing may be the only way to stay relevant, I feel like that for electronic music community, not changing can be such a great loss, and that's what happened here. Now, I'm not saying do what Marshmello did and move on to a whole different genre of music, and while that has helped Marshmello stay more relevant than Alan Walker, when Marshmello does drop electronic music, you can tell that he has changed up and evolved unlike this album did. Overall, this album suffers from the fact that it is a decade too late and would have definitely been a better release back in 2016 and not now in 2026. And while there still may be fans for this type of electronic music, it surely is not a good enough excuse for Alan Walker to not change after all these years. Lastly, this album had no standout songs. And something else I also wanted to say that I didn't write down is I decided to look at some of his other albums before this one, and he truly just did not change at all. Right? I didn't listen to the albums fully because I think I might add Alan Walker to the list of artists that I want to listen to. But I don't know. He does suffer from this a lot. Like I did use some Marshmallow example. Right. I'm not saying Alan Walker should do that. Where now Marshmallow's producing all different types of music. You can find Marshmallow on the rap scene, I'm gonna forget. Rap scene, pop scene, Hispanic music scene. I think he did stuff in Brazil. I think he did stuff in Bollywood. Marshmallow's been around the block. I'm not saying you have to do what Marshmallow's doing, but obviously he needs to change up a little bit if he wants to get back in the spotlight. Well, yes, of course he made Faded. He made Alone, because what artist didn't release a song named Alone, back in the 2010s? What else did he make? He made a lot of bangers. He made a lot of bangers back then. But so I could see a world where he's like, okay, I've made enough money. I don't really care. But I feel like he should at least try to evolve a little bit. Because honestly, I really might go back, compare an album from 2016 to this, and I feel like I would hear the exact same beats, or if anything, the 2016 one might be better, right? But this definitely does fall. It sucks. I really, because it's a season one, so maybe he releases a second season for this album series. So if he does, I really hope it is a much better album, much better production, right? Because something when I do is when I review artists, I always look at the year the album was released, and then I base it around my review, like around the stuff that we would get around those times. Even though there's stuff from like the 1990s where I obviously wasn't born, but I've listened to other music from those eras, so I can try and compare to that stuff, right? And I obviously be like, okay, they're from these times, so I can't, right? That's why I feel it's like this is a decade too late. Because if this was released in like 2016, where electronic music was at its prime, right? This album would have definitely been amazing, but it just hasn't. He failed miserably. Not the worst album of the year. That still goes to net spend for me, but definitely one of the lower albums of the year. You know what? Forget what I said. Fuck Alan Walker. So I decided to go look at some reviews after recording that and do some stuff online to see, to see what the Alan Walker community was talking about. Turns out he's into AI music. Turns out he supports AI artists. He could die. He is not being added to my artist list anymore. I feel like anyone who supports AI art, AI music, you deserve nothing. You deserve nothing but the worst. I hope Faded gets deleted off the internet. I hope Alone gets deleted off the internet. I hope all your music gets deleted off the internet. Stuff happens to you where you lose all your money. You support AI, you deserve nothing. You generally deserve nothing. So I was telling myself, looking at the album cover, I was like, this album cover looks very AI. But I was like, you know what? I'll let it slide. But now that I figured out that you support AI, I wish you nothing but the worst. I know I shouldn't be wishing another human something like that. But you support AI, you're taking up our resources. So you obviously do not care enough. So I don't care for you. I honestly hope that you never return to the spotlight, you waste of a human. I'm sorry, but like, if you go down where you support AI, I don't care for you. I don't. I'm sorry. AI is the worst thing. Using AI is the worst. Especially when it comes to art, especially when it comes to music. You are really using AI. Not. Never mind. Forget what I said. I don't want Alan Walker to return to the spotlight. Up next, we have Skeletor by Chief Keef. Backstory of the album. After being in the music industry for 15 years, at the age of 30, he has slowed down a lot at making music, but when he does drop, he finds a way to reinvent himself and find a way to bring the attention back to him. What website did I use for this? I I I didn't cite my source. Oh God. So I either used Apple Music, Wikipedia, or Genius.com. One of the three, as those are the three websites I use. I didn't cite the source I used, so I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know. Shit, that is a failure on me. Holy shit. Review. Now we have a Chief Keef album, and while I do plan to get to all Chief Keef's project at some point in the future, it'll be a long while before we get there. This is the first full-length album of his that I have heard in a while, and while I have heard some of his songs before, I have not heard enough where I'm able to compare it to his other stuff, so take what I have to say with a grain of salt. Overall, this is a great project with some with some down parts, but it was overall majority good beats and productions behind the project. The lyrics were 50-50 as they were the reason why some songs did lose points for me, but then we also had some songs where he def sound a lot better lyric wise. And flow and pace was also great, and I have zero complaints in that department, and he kept full points throughout the entire project on that department. Lastly, my standout songs are 24 Hours and Only for the Night. Up next, we have Fetty Wap by Fetty Wap. Up next, we have Zavier by Fetty Wap. Backstory of the album. After being let out of jail earlier than expected back in January of 2026, Fetty Wap would get into the studio and get to work. He would also go onto his Instagram account and start to promote his new album to start and hype up the album post-prison to start the hype of his post-prison album. Information from Genius.com. Review. Now that we have Mr. Fetty Wap, this album was very nice. I can't lie to you. It was a great listen, and I enjoyed every second of this album. While there were parts where the lyrics had me, questioning, like what the fuck is he talking about? But outside of that, this project was very good. Also, the fact that this was his album returning from prison sentence goes to show that even while behind bars, he was still writing bars. For his return, that didn't work out as I thought it would, whatever. It worked out amazingly for him, though. Overall, this is a great project by him, and production was great throughout the entire project, and he has not lost his love for making music. While lyrics on some of the songs may have been lacking, a majority of the lyrics were very well written, and he did have a great pace and flow throughout the majority of the album. Lastly, my standout songs are Right Back to You and Love, and I clicked out by accident, and LYG. Up next, and the final album of today's video will be Bully by Mr. West, aka the GOAT of delays, aka Mr. Kanye West. Backstory of the album. After doing Vultures 1 and 2 and also the failure that was on the 2, Kanye would take some time to drop Bully. But there was one main issue with was that the original version had AI and it wasn't Kanye himself singing it. Many fans would start to get upset and start to call Mr. West washed and done for. A little while after that, and by that I mean close to 2 years later, Kanye would tweet out a tweet saying stuff like he is back and he apologizes for some of his past actions and he would take down the AI version and start to rework on the album, put his real vocals on the song. After that, the album was supposed to drop March 27th of 2026, but even though it did come out for those at the listening parties and for that live stream on YouTube, for those of us on streaming platforms waiting, we had to wait until March 28th to get our hands on this album. Information from me, myself, and all the shit I had to deal with by being a Kanye West fan. Something I forgot to add was that there were many, many delays before the album was even released, before even the March 27th release of the album. Many of these delays, I don't know, this album was delayed, I want to say like 4 to 5 times. I don't know, but there were many delays on this album. I'm just happy this album's finally out. And like I said, information from me, myself, and I, and all the shit I had to deal with for being a Kanye West fan. Anyways, review. After this long ass wait, we would finally get our hands on Bully, and wow, this shit was worth it. The production on this album is incredible and honestly worth the multiple delays that we got. As much as I do want to glaze this album, I feel so tired from the other albums, as you can tell by how many we have gone over. But just know this is a top 10 album of the year for 2026. Overall, this was a great album, amazing production. Lyrically, it was also an amazing album and something that we're sure for sure be in the running for album of the year. I do wish that the Don Toliver feature was better used, but shit happens, I guess. But the Zaddy Travis Scott and the Peso Pluma features were amazing. And there's also a rumor that there's supposed to be a Travis X Kanye West album that's supposed to be coming out at some point. I'm ready. I'm here. I'm ready. Give me Travis X Kanye West. I don't know, as a Travis Scott fan and as a Kanye fan, this would feed me for the rest of my life. But whatever. Like I did say, there are also some other features on this album. Don Toliver's was the worst, sadly. That was a big negative. But the Best of Pluma and Travis Scott, they both did amazing. Travis Scott cooked. Best of Pluma cooked. They were amazing. And this was a great album. I enjoyed it very much. And lastly, my standout songs are Fodder, All the Love, and Last Rap. Before we continue on with the rest of the video, I want to give a quick thank you to the partner of the channel, MedKit Mystery Boxes. If you don't know what they are, let me tell you. MedKit Mystery Boxes are gaming-related boxes that you can get on a month-to-month subscription or a one-time purchase if you don't want to try it out for a month or give it to someone else. They have all different types of boxes, from the PS4 to the PS5, the Xbox consoles, Nintendo Switch, and even PC. You can receive gaming accessories to help improve your gaming experience, gaming-related items to help decorate your room, and even goodies to try at home like chips, candies, and G Fuel packets. If you are interested in trying them, make sure to use my affiliate link down below or use code TrainDavid when checking out for a discount and to support the channel out. Anyways, let's head on with the rest of the video. Up next, we have standout albums of the week. If you guys don't know what standout albums of the week are, let me explain it to you. So standout albums of the week is where I pick out albums that I really enjoyed and the albums that you have to go listen to the moment you finish this video. So usually I only pick one or two albums per week, but this week is special because I decided to pick three albums because I listened to over 10 albums and it was very hard to pick between the albums I wanted to listen to. I think in total I listened to 13 or 14 albums, so I decided to go with three, but this is something that's only going to be on rare occasion. Usually for 10 albums of the week, you can only expect two albums. Anyways, let's move on. Your first standout album of the week goes to 2014 Forest Hills Drive by J. Cole. This album was amazing. This album was great. This is J. Cole's best project ever. So if I didn't give it to him, if I didn't give it to J. Cole, I for sure would have been murdered. This video will not blow up in the future. If I do blow up, someone will come back to this video and be like, "Wait a minute, he didn't give it to 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Let's cancel him." But yes, this album was great. It was amazing. No complaints from me. Honestly, one of the best albums that I heard this past week. It was on the better side and it was a very good album. And, this is probably an album you've already heard, but if you haven't, go listen to it. I listened to the deluxe version, but if you want a shorter side of it, there's also the original version, and the original version is just as good. Anyways, your second standout album of the week goes to ADL by YEAT. I enjoyed this album a lot. I really did. This album was very good. Many people are hating on this album. I will not. I do not get the hate. I do not understand the hate. People hating on it are weird. They are dumb. This is one of the few times where I disagree with everyone. This album was great. I enjoyed this album. If I wasn't in a bad financial situation right now, for sure would have bought the vinyl the moment I finished the album. But I'm just not in the spot where I can be buying vinyls. I've made the exception for three artists, which is Travis Scott, Tyler the Creator, and what's his name? And Don Toliver. Those are my only exceptions at buying vinyls, but outside of that, I'm not buying vinyls at the moment. But yeah, this was a great album. It was amazing. It was spectacular. I enjoyed it all the way through, and this was something that he was hyping up. Many people were hyping up. I was scared going into it because obviously we've been going for YEAT albums, so I was scared for a little bit. But luckily, it was worth it. It was nice. It was a great album, great listen. And if you haven't heard it yet, you've never heard YEAT, hey, ADO is right there. It's great, more recent album, and honestly, something you really do have to go get your hands on if you haven't gotten your hands on it already. And your third standout album of the week goes to, and the main reason why I had to pick three albums this week goes to Bully by Kanye West. The main reason I had to this album was the reason I had to do three standout albums of the week, because I already had the other two selected because I thought the album wasn't being dropped on streaming services. And then he decides to drop it on streaming services, and of course I still hadn't finished, doing the video, writing a script and shit. So I was like, you know what, I include it, and of course the album was great. But because I write everything down in pen, I wasn't able to, go back and erase one of the other two. And even then, I don't know which one I would have erased. Bully, it's very good. Was it worth like the 2 year wait? Hell no. Is it still good? Hell yeah. Is Kanye West washed? Hell no. Was Travis Scott good? Hell yeah. Was Peso Pluma good? Hell yeah. Was On Toliver good? Hell no. Actually, I think the song's been taken down. I saw on Twitter. I saw that people are talking about like it being taken down or something because Don Toliver didn't clear it or something. If that's the case, please just re-record the song, re-upload it, because that song can be so much more better. But yeah, you know, this it was a great album. I'm honestly happy it finally did drop. Hopefully, Kanye starts turning it around, and when and in the next 4 years when he does decide to drop, it'll be worth it. And yeah, those are your standard albums of this week. It was 2014 Forest Hills Drive by J. Cole, A Dale by Yeat, and Bully by Kanye West. And now it's my favorite part of these videos. I'm gonna try and keep this short. It is also known as Yap Time. So my original notes for Yap Time, I had Kanye West did not drop. Obviously, that's out the window. He did drop, so that subject is done. Two, I am going to be going to community college in the fall. So we'll be talking more about how the schedule and the albums are going to work as we get closer to the date and I find out what time my classes are going to be, how my work schedule is going to be. Well, I will be figuring that out, way out then. But at the moment, don't worry about it. It's just not going to be a bother for the moment. But we might be slowing down in the summer. I will be talking about that too when we get closer to the summer because I will be super busy with work by then. So that's something that we'll be on the lookout for. I'll try my best. I'll keep you guys updated. I'll let you guys know how things go for that. And I'm trying to see if there's any more notes for Yep Time. There isn't. I had something else in mind that I wanted to talk about, but I've completely forgotten it. Did I say fuck Israel? Yeah, I don't know, but fuck Israel. Oh, so I had in total, I just counted. I listened to 13 albums when I was supposed to listen to 15. So what ended up happening is I just got so burnt out from listening to music. Like today is Tuesday as I'm recording this. I'm going to upload like this might be uploaded like 10:30, 11 p.m. Tuesday, just so I can get this video out. I usually around this time I'm listening to albums to start the week, but because I felt so burnt out because I didn't have a break. Yeah, I'm never doing this again. I'm never doing this again. Like the most I'll make it to is maybe like 10 albums. I'm never going over 10 again because it just felt painful. It felt forced. I mean, I'm probably gonna be delayed with albums again, but I'd rather be delayed with like a few albums than whatever the fuck this past week was. So yeah, that's something that, I don't ever expect this amount of albums. Obviously, look at this video. It's, it's pushing the 40-minute mark by the time I'm done with yapping. So, that's something that I don't plan to do this again. I don't plan to make videos this long again. I don't like making videos this long because I know no one clicks on them. I'm a smaller content creator. People see a 40-minute video, they're like, no, I'm not clicking that, right? So, that's something I even like something even happened is I had to go into Save the World, as you can see in the background, and get an extra footage recorded just so I can actually make this video, right? Because I wasn't expecting it to be this long. But oh my gosh, speaking about Fortnite, apparently Disney's planning to buy Epic Games. If that happens, GG's, Fortnite will for sure be dead. It's already dying. And if you didn't choose Team Ice King, you have something wrong with you. Even though The Rock has this no lose clause. I hate The Rock. I genuinely hate The Rock. I hate him from the wrestling side. I hate him from his movie side, and I hate him from his Fortnite side. He is one of the worst human beings out there. Literally a walking billboard. He's terrible. I don't like him at all. Yeah, I've also every day try to go live on stream Twitch for at least an hour every day. And I've been keeping that up. Actually, the moment I'm done editing and making the thumbnail, I'm probably going to go live for an hour just so I can get the daily hour, come back, and then not listen to an album because that's not possible. But oh yeah, and we're also done with both J. Cole and Yeat. Like I said earlier, no more J. Cole. That's it for J. Cole. He is retired unless he does come back for some reason. But he is retired, so you will never be hearing J. Cole. Of course, if he's featured on another song or if like he does come back, you will obviously hear from him again. But it's like you know what I mean. And we're also done with Yeet for the moment. As you know, we're fully caught up. Luckily, I was able to time that perfectly for Yeet, where I was able to finish listening to all his albums right before ADL dropped, which is nice. It wasn't something I was able to do for J. Cole, because I completely forgot that J. Cole was dropping an album, and I was in the middle of of other artists at the time, so I wasn't able to do that. And also, the next two artists that we're going to be talking over these next couple of weeks are Coldplay and Osuna. With Osuna, we are completely starting from the very beginning, as I never touched any of his albums. But for Coldplay, we're going to be starting on their third album because I did hear their first two. I don't know if those ever got reviewed for YouTube. I don't know if that was before I started doing music reviews, but so you can have an idea of the artists we'll be listening to now that we're done with Yeat and ADL. I mean Yeat and J. Cole. And this week's estimated time for just first time listens is going to take about 4 hours, 48 minutes. So it's not going to be the roughest of weeks for me. But yeah. And at Formula One, and we're about to be going into a break, but apparently Max Verstappen is retiring. Now, I'll continue watching Max Verstappen is retired at the end of the season, but I know so many people. The sport will literally die when Max Verstappen leaves because he has brought in so many fans. Actually, he is the reason I started watching F1. But yeah, I really do hope to change the regulations. The Bearman accident that happened during the Japanese Prix should not have happened. The new regulations are just terrible. I really hope that during this month break, like the FIA actually starts thinking about their dumb decisions. But and also it does suck, of course, because of the stupid Israel war, right? Obviously that includes Israel and the United States of Israel versus Iran. I feel bad for them. There's no reason for this war, and they're talking about cutting healthcare for more money for war and immigration, but this country's going to hell. And I'm trying to think, what was I gonna say? So yeah, of course, that's like the main thing that matters. Like them people are losing their lives for no reason. And from a Formula One fan, it does also suck because we don't get the Bahrain race and we don't get the Saudi Arabia race. And Bahrain, I don't really mind losing because I don't really enjoy that race. But the Saudi track I think, is one of the more beautiful tracks. I really enjoy watching that race. So it does suck that we're losing that race. It also does suck that they weren't able to replace any. I really wish we did like double headers, like 2 weeks in a row in China, then 2 weeks in a row in Japan or something like that. But I guess because there's like other races going on at that time for those countries, they weren't able to do it. I know I shouldn't be rolling my eye. I was told not to roll my eye. Um, and that's about it. I don't got nothing else for you guys. Um, Hopefully this isn't something that we'll be dealing with a lot, where I'm uploading on a Tuesday when I usually upload on a Monday. If anything, by the looks of it, this video is probably gonna end up being uploaded closer to midnight, closer to Wednesday, at like 1 a.m. But um, you know. I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing else to say. I'm just wasting time. Thank you guys so much for watching this long ass video. I don't expect anyone to make it here, but if you do, you are amazing. And I will be seeing you guys in next week's video. And I'm very sorry. I really wish I got this video out sooner. I really wanted to play Harry Potter. So I will lock in this next week because I really do want to play Harry Potter and I really do want to get another Harry Potter video out for you guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Fuck. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Or yeah, next week. I was gonna say maybe a gameplay video, but I would literally somehow have to record that, edit, and do. Technically, I could. I don't know. Nah. See you guys next week in the next album reviews video.